Good evening, all. How are we doing on this fine Friday? We're here to build some lists as it goes. Who we got in the chat? Who is here for this Friday? There's nothing going on this week, is there? 28th of February. Last day of the month. I don't think there's anything particularly exciting or interesting going on, as far as I'm aware, anyway. Should be a good one. Got some interesting lists. Looking forward to those. Beowulf Miniatures, hello. Hey, how you doing? I'm assuming that is you, Adam. Or no, Seamus Nutsky. Could well be. Strifey's here. Good to see you, Strifey. Noko here to see how much my list gets roasted today. Interesting. Goldfire's here. Hello, Goldfire. Saw you submitted one of the lists. Good to have you. Anubis, how are you doing, buddy? Happy Friday, Landon. Existence both here and Twitch. Hell yeah. I have hit the threshold for being allowed to get the affiliate set up on Twitch. So I no longer need to beg people to follow me on every stream, which is good. So I can just leave it running in the background now. Looking forward to the Empire Community Effort list. Yeah, that's the one I'm actually pretty excited for. I think it's pretty cool, pretty interesting. Let's go indeed. Goblin Spelunker is here as well. Fantastic stuff. Well, as always, it's the start of the stream, so I'm going to once again ask for your assistance in thumbsing up the video. Make sure I get seen by more people, all of that good stuff. I should build some sort of program that I can just have it play, record the first 5 minutes of a stream when I go through all of the usual things that I ask people to do. Thumbs up the video, all that jazz. So many griffins to print. Hell yeah, I think that list's really interesting. I think it's got some legs. I'm interested in playing around with it. Anthony's here. Hell yeah. How are you doing, buddy? Dave time. Good to see you, Dave. Sounds like a guy I'm really going to like. Is that the Griffins list that you're looking forward to? Do you benefit from both, from dual watching on Twitch and YouTube? Not particularly. Thank you for asking. Appreciate it. Basically, there is something called, there's an achievement you've got to get called Path to Affiliate. I have reached the settings you need to get to. It's like number of followers, the amount of hours you stream, yada yada. So now I can apply for affiliate, which I've started setting up, but it's tax information. And it's American tax information, so it takes a while to get set up. But once I've got that set up, I will be able to just use that for some live streams and then use that live stream content to make YouTube videos from, which is, I think, going to be the plan. Affiliate means I can get Twitch subs. I absolutely can get Twitch subs, which I'm not really bothered about in terms of people giving me their money. But if you do have, and it's a bit early for a plug, but if you do have a Twitch Prime account or an Amazon Prime account, you can give me money out of Jeff Bezos's pockets, his deep, deep pockets. So that's all that good stuff. Seamus, does that mean we can sub to you? You will be able to. I'll get that set up. Yeah, I guess that's probably alongside the Longbeard tier. I'll have to have a think about what that means, but yeah, basically it's set up so that I can take the free money from Amazon more than anything else, and also do the actual live content and go from there. Twitch can have Autobots that post messages in chat, such as the follow reminders. Yes, good point, Existence. For the amount of Twitch I watch, funnily enough, I watch a lot of Twitch VODs that get, scraped to YouTube. So I don't actually do a lot of the live watching. But I feel like it's probably time to get into it. So, as always, the best way to do this is to talk about lists for people who are here. I've seen a few names. Anyone want to shout up for who wants to have their list looked at first? Especially if there's anyone who is not going to be here later in the stream or anything like that. Let's make sure that we get yours done while you are here. So, who are we working with first? I've got Tijan's list up first in terms of just alphabetically. But Tanako, I know Tanako's here. I've forgotten what your username is. Something Empire, please. Oh, okay, we can get to Something Empire. That would be good. Feel free to slate yours, Seamus. What's your Discord names? Just so I'm getting the right ones. There is always a bit of a disconnect between YouTube names and Discord names, I find. Unfortunately now at a size where it's hard to remember everyone's. Ah! Enos here, seller of fine copper. Hell yeah, let's start there then. Yours was the Chariot Death Star. Your list was interesting. Perfect. Let's go up to the context. So, looking to try and make a competitive Chariot Death Star. Like that. Good stuff there. So, this is an interesting list in that we've got... I'll get to the list in a second. Seamus says should be Seamus Nusky. I'm not seeing your list on here. When did you submit your list, Seamus? Was it after the cutoff today? Or after the submission cutoff? One more Herald is better. Yeah, that was something that I was definitely thinking. Struggling to see your list, Seamus. You haven't got a different name on Discord, do you? Just want to make sure that I'm not missing a list in here. Let me just quickly turn off streamer mode so I can see the actual names submitting here. Should be the second reply. I've got yours, Tanako. Yeah, yours isn't a problem at all. It's just Seamus said that they'd submitted a list. Well, I'll get started on this one and let me know what your Discord name is. I just want to make sure that I'm not missing it if you've submitted between the... yes. So the way that it works, Seamus, is I put it in... Basically, it was impossible to track if people could just free-for-all put them in. So I put an announcement as to when it's opened up. But post it again in the chat, and I've got 12 already. But if I get chance to, I will get to yours at the end, as long as we don't run low on time. But yes, I'll put an announcement up for when the cutoff is, and like I say, post it again in Discord, and I'll see if I can get to yours after I've done the ones in between the cutoff. So, with that in mind, we better make a good start. Bromo Sapiens here. Hey, how you doing? Papa Wheelie as well. Good to see you. You're here anyway. Good stuff. So, Chariot Death Star. I like this. This is Tomb King, Royal Herald, High Priest. And this does take up most of the points. As Anubis says, I would like to get another Royal Herald in. Then you've gone for 10 Skeleton Chariots, 10 Skeleton Archers, double Scorpions, double Necrosphinx. Yeah, I think that's probably right. So you've gone Icon of the Sacred Eye, which is +1 weapon skill, right? Let's just have a quick look here. Yeah, +1 weapon skill. I think this is a good point. If we just put the important banner, which is the icon of Rakath, which gives you a free reform at any point during the movement, except during a charge move, which is a disgusting rule. Let's be clear, this is a disgusting rule. So this is in. We can take it off here, and we should, as you point out, have enough points to clear up for another Herald. So, here... I'm going to make some tweaks, and then we're going to see what we've got points for. So, Shield. Yes, you are putting all the hits onto the Royal Priests. I think it's still worth upgrading that shield to a Charm Shield. It's just, you know, it's 3 points. We're probably going to be able to do it. Then we've got here BSB, Great Weapon, Meteoric Iron, Talisman of Protection. And let's see if we can fit another one in with some sort of defensive loadout. Great Weapon. And what's the... I guess it would be Silvered Steel and... I mean, the obvious one to go for is the Armor of Destiny, but that's very expensive. So I'm just thinking, what can we fit in here? Because we're gonna struggle with the Dragon in as well. Oh, in fact, you know what? We might really struggle. Warding Splint, good shout, good shout. Warding Splint is a good one to go for. It is 5 points less as well. It is a worse save, but it's still pretty solid. I don't think there's anything we need to combo it in, apart from just a normal shield. So that puts us at 20 points over. 20 points over. Yeah, I was thinking the Paymaster's coin is probably the thing that needs to go, but it is very nice. I don't think there's anything we can drop here, realistically, is there? Warding Splint has to stay. Oh, no, we've got the Warding Splint on the High Priest already, so the Warding Splint has to come off here. So I guess what's probably going to happen is we go Charmed Shield and Armor of Silvered Steel. That's not a good feeling combo, but it's probably still correct. The other option is... No, these are all if you attack into them, and the Tomb King has them. So... Okay, so let's see where we can shave some points in the characters. High Priest, I don't think we can take any points off here. In fact, Warding Splint on the Wizard. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Tanaka. Let me just make sure. You don't seem to have... Let me just see if I've missed it. Lore Familiar. Oh, I've clicked wrong. There should be a Lore Familiar on there in the 420 points. Are you only a level 3 wizard? You're only a level 3 wizard. Ooh, that is... Right, we are struggling for points here. Because you've only got your High Priest as a level 3. I think you have to be level 4. Like, illusion spell costs are so high. What are we looking for? So it's a 10 on Column. It's a 9 on Spectral Doppelganger. It's 11 on Miasmic Mirage. Obviously only a 7 on Glittering Robes. This has become difficult. This has become difficult. So the BSB is probably important. We don't want to cut that at all. Great Weapon is nice to have. Royal Herald for 3 attacks at weapon skill 4. God, we've got a lot of points to cut. Let's just shave everything that's not needed. So we'll drop those 2. We're still 30 points over. We might just have to really go light on something. Drop the Armor of Silvered Steel here. I think that's just too expensive to be useful. Which means if we go back to giving this a Charmed Shield. And now we're 5 points under. So Ogre Blade, Charmed Shield, Meteoric Eye, and Talisman of Protection. So this is the 5-up, 5-up, 5-up that is going to be your... In fact, let's change these over. So we'll take off the BSB here. We'll put the BSB here. Because you want the one that's going to be taking most of the hits to be easier to... Yeah, okay. Yeah, so we've got the 5-up, 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 not on the BSB, because the one you're passing off hits to, you don't want to be dying. King could be 30 points cheaper, and level 3 is most times enough. I don't agree that a level 3 is enough, not for an illusion caster. Like, when your entire strategy is getting off the spell... I'd be worried about that. I really want to give this a power scroll, but we're at 85 points already. Because you can't, like, this isn't, obviously, it's not Mortuary Cult, so you can't pass on, you can't get the +3 to cast in the way that you can for Mortuary Cult. Yeah, okay. So we've got the Meteoric Eye and Talisman. We've got just a Charmed Shield. Feels a little bit rough. I play most times with Elemental. Yeah, this setup... I wouldn't go with Dragon, I think, with Elementalism. I guess you could, but I don't see much value to doing it. Like, this is specifically here as another sort of, like, melee beta piece, right? So that's the combo Tanaka's gone for. I think this is fine. We fit in the second Royal Herald. We're doing the things. Here, if we go down to 9, we're 11 points under. Okay. Is there anything that we want to give this unit? We could give them poisoned attacks for the great weapons on the Heralds. There's a lot of frontage, honestly. Or is it slightly too much Scarab Brooch, isn't it? No, not Scarab Brooch. I think it's 30 points for the poison item off the top of my head. Relic of the Desert Sun. Amulet of the Serpent. Yeah, there we go. 30 points. I was right. It's been a while since I've looked at Tomb Kings. Okay, sure. This is fine. So we need to shave. This is an uncomfortable amount of points to shave because we've got a very limited setup here. Relic of the Desert Sun. With Chariots, you've got to turn off the flammable and dry dust. Okay, let's have a look into that. Amulet of the Relic of the Desert Sun. Oh, it's the bearer of, it's not the unit. Eek. That's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. Is Cetra worth it? I don't think so, unfortunately. So the way this works, the whole combo here, is the Tomb King is going to be in a challenge, and your opponent's going to be attacking the Tomb King, and then you're going to be passing off any hits into the Royal Heralds, so that's where you put in your tanky items, and then the Tomb King just does loads of damage with an Ogre Blade. That's the whole premise of the list. And then you've got a High Priest as a standalone, relatively effective beater as well. We're still under in points, and then we're going to struggle here. I think maybe one of the Tomb Scorpions has to go. I think that's the only way to make this work, because you don't really want to drop the Necrosphinxes. As good as Tomb Scorpions are, I think I'd rather drop Archibald's Chariot Musician is 11. Oh, yes, thank you. Yeah, that's one of the things I did want to point out. Too many people don't take Musicians on Undead, which drives me nuts. I think they're so good. Especially when you've got the unit strength. Light Chariot's a unit strength 3, right? Pretty sure they're 3. Let's have a look here. Unit strength. Unit strength, troop type table. Light Chariots are 2. Okay. You're still pretty decent. You know, you've got a unit strength of... When you've got characters on, does it change? I was looking at light cavalry. I wasn't even looking at chariots. Yeah, so 3 base, then heavy chariots are 5. Cool. So you've got a pretty decent 12, 36 before you take any wounds. Anyway, yeah. So you want to have musicians. High unit strength means that you're going to be... If you are at a tied combat, you want to be winning it. You want to make your opponents run away from combat, basically. Yeah, good catch. Good catch. I did indeed do that. And then 1 Skeleton Archer. So this takes us up to here. We're still 30 points over. Don't get me wrong, I love the double Tomb Scorpion, double Necrosphinx, but I just don't think we can afford it. Because if we want to go double Herald and also keep the High Priest who is going to do damage in combat, which I think is fun. Like, this is... I think it's more fun to drop one of the Tomb Scorpions than it is to drop something here. And squeezing the second Royal Herald in makes the whole Death Star way more effective, right? So, Tomb Scorpion's great, but... we still have 45 points. I don't know that there's anything for 45 points that we care about. I really like Carrion. I think Carrion is super undervalued. They're low wounds, but they're 3 attacks each with Fly 10, Swift Stride, and the Skirmishers as well. So you can just catch war machines with them, but you don't have enough points, so that's kind of a moot point. Hey!
Blah, blah, rat supremacy, blah, blah.
Hell yeah, good to have you, buddy. Thank you for popping in. Thank you for donating. Appreciate it. Rat supremacy. Always good to have. So I guess what it comes down to here is we just chuck something else in. Let's just go back down to 10 here and then put in... What's the best thing to go? Probably just 5 Horse Archers. 5 Horse Archers are a frustrating thing to deal with. Oh, that overcaps us slightly. We'd have to drop the Musician, and I refuse to on principle after I've just talked about how good they are. Did I talk about how good they are, or did I get distracted? I definitely felt like I sidetracked myself there. Let's see. We don't... Yeah, Vanguard is better than Scout now. Scout is... Let's just go... let's go with 2 units of Skeleton Skirmishers. That's going to be what we fill up our points with. We'll give them ambushes as well. The reason for that is if you don't want to have high drops, you can just put these skirmishes into the bin, and buy into the bin into ambush where you don't care about them. If you want to keep your low drops by going 1, 2, 2 for the Necrosphinx, 3 for the Tomb Scorpions, 4 for the Archers, 5 for the Chariots, 6. 6 drops is really low, and you've got a really condensed list. But you also have the option to put them down early if you want to see what your opponent's drops are. And you've also got the option to use them to fill up a wood, which is important in my eyes. They don't have scouts, so you can't scout into the midboard, but they do have vanguard, so they can get closer if you need them to. Yep, cool. Love it. I think this is solid. This is basically the same list, but we just made some tweaks. Made the Death Star a little bit harder to deal with. So let's go with that. At Enosir, Seller of Fine Copper. There we go. Good stuff. I'm interested to see how this plays out. Have you played any games with it? I'd be curious to hear how that goes for you, because I think that's a very fun sort of list. Cool. Okay. Moving on. We did have a request for some Empire. What do we got? We had 2 Empire lists, didn't we? Should we just wax lyrical about the first one? No, we had 3 Empire lists. Let's have a look at Phidias's Terror Bomb list, as referenced as the Empire community list. I guess there must have been a lot of chat going on in the Empire channel, which is fun. So. Where were we in here? Because there was a lot of talk. Here we go. So, the disclaimer here, Scary Man's the premise. A few of us were kicking around this idea in the Empire channel. The idea is mainly to bring a Necromancer with leadership debuffs and a bunch of terror-causing units to try and basically scare stuff to death. Brackets, off the board, terribly out of position. A bit of a meme idea to start. First iteration was to abuse terror-causing chariots and Icon of Moor and Demogryph Knights as an extra source of terror. We then realised we could also spam captains on griffins as the main source of terror inducement. And then, what do I need help with? This is probably too many terror inducers and not enough actual units. Maybe switch some terror units for more war machines and an engineer. The core needs work. I'm not actually sure if I can make good use of chaff archers. That's fair. We lack any kind of usable anvil unit as it is. Maybe a big CR brick would help. Be nice to consider how to not auto-lose to undead. Yeah, that is a problem. And then happy to see a complete retool with the same terror concept, so rip this apart if you have a cooler angle to try. And then Strife commented, a great Always Sunny gif saying Birds of War. So I love this. This is my favourite thing already. This has brought joy to me. I've not been having a great week. Not like anything particularly bad, but I've hit the doldrums of just enthusiasm this week. So this is cool. This is a lot of fun. You are right. I think this is too many terror causes. I think we immediately drop one of these. I think that's too many. Also, the Knights of the White Wolf are fun, but I don't know that they're actually doing a lot for you here. And then, as you point out, you probably want more artillery. So. We've got some points to play around with. I think I'm gonna go off piste here. Let's completely bin the core out to start with. I think we might put it back in, but we want to play around with other stuff. I also think you probably want a second wizard, right? So this one, we can drop the Ruby Ring of Ruin. It's nice to have, but we're kind of going all in on what we've got. We should just talk about what it is. So the general currently is a Wizard Lord on Griffin. So you're only leadership 8, which is a little bit of a problem for terror causes that, you know, are attacking you. That does cause me some concern. Imperial Griffin, so it gets you from T4 up to T5. 4 wounds, so you're up to 7. You're an actual behemoth, whereas the other ones are just normal monsters. And Necromancy with the Tome of Midnight, which is an incredible item. It is basically a spell familiar and a +1 to cast. So you get +1 to cast when attempting to cast from Demonology, Dark, or Necromancy. We're going Necromancy here. And also, you know, +1 spell. You can only cast 4 spells and you get Loner. So we're going Necromancy. Why are we going Necromancy? Well, it's not for Dwellers Below. That's terrible. It's... I guess this is fine. You get a 6-up ward. No, you don't need that at all. Unquiet Spirits is really nice. It's just, a magic missile that turns off armor saves. This is baby Viletide, basically. It can still deal with strength 7, but you don't have any way of re-rolling. But this is a surprisingly good spell, depending on the army you're against. Against, like, enemy Empire, Bretonnians, High Elves, this goes pretty hard. Like, I'm concerned if I see my opponent has Unquiet Spirits. Spiritual Vortex, here we go. 12-inch range, 5-inch blast template, dangerous terrain, turns off Inspiring Presence, and also -1 to leadership. This is kind of the formative piece of the puzzle. Curse of Years is not a terrible hex, honestly. This is not what you're taking it for, but it gives you some... Oh, for God's sakes. There we go. It gives you some real strength when you're trying to get in combat, and you can... the minus to weapon skill and toughness means that you're likely to hit them at +1 and wound them at +1. Spectral Steed doesn't do anything in this list, and then Spirit Leech is the targeted version of the Spectral... Spiritual Vortex. So you're giving a single unit -2 to leadership. And the change to the FAQ, has that... I don't think that's changed anything. Let me just double check. Can you still stack this on an enemy twice? I don't think you can, right? I think you can only ever hex a unit once. I don't know why I'm getting myself confused. This is... the same hex spell on the same unit has no further attack. Of course it doesn't. I know that. So you can theoretically get them to -4 if you hit them with Spirit Leech and then double Spiritual Vortex. Or has that been overwritten now, actually? That might have been overwritten. I know we've got a load of Necromancers in chat. If you're in range of 2 Spiritual Vortexes... are you -2 leadership? I can't for the life of me remember how that interaction goes. Control F hex. Let's have a look at what we've got here. So this is the Storm of Ashnurf, which is good. What's the wording on it? Range of self that affect all range. So I think while this doesn't, rules as written, stop you from being nerfed like that, I think it in effect does. Yeah. I think that stops it from happening twice. That's what I'm going to say. Even though this doesn't technically, rules as written, do that, the intent is clear to stop templates from affecting a unit twice despite it not being cast on them, because it's specifically here is the thing that stops it. Casting the same hex more than once on the same unit, you're not casting it on the unit, you're casting it as a template, but then this makes it clear that it shouldn't stack despite not referencing it by name. Anyway, I just tunneled super deep for my own benefit there. I still think it's worth going for a second Wizard Lord, honestly. Yes, that's what I was going to put in. So a second Necromancy, or what's the other lore? There's another lore that has a removes. Let me just find this here. I'm sure there's another lore that can hex leadership off the top of my head. I want to say dark. I think the easiest way to do it is I'm just trying to pull up the PDF instead of flicking between lores. Here we go. Let's go down to spells. Either that or there's a spell that interact. I know illusion interacts with, so maybe we go like a second caster that's illusion. I deliberately didn't look into this when I was putting the lists in because I wanted to do the journey of discovery with you chaps. And chapesses, my apologies. Okay, so Battle Magic, I know Battle Magic doesn't interact with leadership at all. So, what are we on to? Demonology. Demonology, yeah, Demonology. It's only a 12-inch range on the Hex, but we could do -2 to leadership here. What else comes in Demonology? Demonic Vessel is really good, and Demonic Vigor is solid. Vortex of Chaos is not good. Steed of Shadows is irrelevant. Do we put in a Demonology caster with some... Okay, let's move on. Dark magic. I believe you can take everything apart from War or High. Yeah, perfect. So dark magic doesn't interact with leadership at all, I don't believe. I mean, there is the Phantasmagoria. And we could go for Word of Pain and Battle Lust to make our less interesting units kind of go hard. That doesn't feel awful. Like, Phantasmagoria... I don't think Phantasmagoria is good, but if they end their movement within range of it, they have to take a panic test. So this could really mess up. And it also gives you Impetuous, so you can still bait out vampires and Tomb Kings with this. Gives you some sort of tool against undead. And then the Frenzy Hatred and -1 toughness. You can probably actually crush some undead with that combination of spells. Right, let's play around with that. We're going for a Dark Magic caster who doesn't need to be in the unit theoretically, so we're going to go... we've just got to go Lore Familiar here, right? Or do we give the other one? No, this one feels fine. This one can be Lore Familiar. Lore Familiar's up. And this one's probably the one that we give Ruby Ring a Rune as well. Because realistically, the other model is likely going to be charging to make use of that terror, because we've taken out one of the whatchamacallums. One of the other generals. Okay, interesting. So this has got... We've got double caster. This one doesn't have a ward save. Oh, it's also only level 3. Hate that. Hate that for us. Maybe we just have to drop the Ruby Ring of Ruin. It'd be nice to have, but maybe that's just not in our future. What do we think, chat? Is there anything particularly exciting that I'm not immediately seeing in terms of a Terror Bomb list? Because I think it's a really interesting concept, but it's not one I've built around before. On the Pegasus, you're only Monstrous Cav, obviously. Let's just have a quick look through the rest of the laws. Elementalism, I know, doesn't interact with leadership. Oh, we don't really care about. High magic, we can't take. Illusion is interesting, because Glittering Robe is a really good signature spell. Empire don't have one themselves. And if they fail the leadership, it's D3 plus 3, strength 4, AP 3 hits. That's just not good enough, I think. Like, it's cute, but I don't think it's enough to make me want to take the law. Obviously, everything else in there is pretty cool, but we don't have points to go for an expensive weapon with Spectral Doppelganger. It would help in the undead matchup, theoretically, but not enough for me to care. Alternatively, we could go for a second Necromancer, and that gives us another... Like, we can take... Basically, we can take 2 core units here, or... no, 1 core unit that gives... that gets Fear. But you can do that with a magic banner anyway, right? The Icon of More. Let's go to the core units here. So we're going to go Knights of More, who don't hit as hard, but we can give them 25-point banner, giving them terror. And Knights of More, they should get... Oh, it's only the Inner Circle Knights that gets the... Okay, cool. So what we're going to do here, we're going to take a unit of Knights of More, which don't hit as hard as the White Wolves, but it gives you a 6-up ward against non-magical attacks, just solid. Hatred Undead, gives us a little bit of a buff there. You don't get these two, unfortunately. However, we turn this into a on-horse caster with Necromancy. One of the spells we're going to be taking is we're going to be taking Deathly Cabal. It gives them... They've got the ward save already, but it gives them Fear, and then this stacks with the banner for Icon of More to upgrade the Fear Terror. Or, you know, whichever way around you want to do it, because Necromancy, it has the same wording, so if you've got Fear already, you get Terror. So I think that's interesting. If we're going to be in melee, then, I want this wizard to be not dying. And we've got 38 points available, so we can give them an actual Armor of Tarnus. Yeah, that seems good. And that combines with the wards. Oh, we can't even put them on a Barded Steed. Okay. Knights of Mordor have countercharge. They do have countercharge. Do we lose that? Fuck! Oh, that's so annoying. Can't justify putting the character in there because you lose the countercharge. I mean... God damn it. It's the fear that's the important bit, right? It's the terror causes. I always get these the wrong around, so it's the terror cause that actually gives the effect that we want. It's you charging the fear causer is when you take the test. Yeah, so we do need it to cause terror, which means suddenly Knights of More are significantly less exciting. Bugger. Alright, okay, so I think we go back to the Pegasus here, and we just play safe. Got 20 points, so I guess... Is there anything we want to put in for 20 points? Witch Hunter's Ward is... Could go on one of them. I don't think there is anything here that's worth taking. A once per game Oaken Shield is not awful. Because I think we go back to the White Wolf. I think that makes a lot of sense. I would like to go for more guns and an engineer, but I also don't know how we do it. Maybe the steam tank comes out. You know what? Let's take the steam tank out. We need to put at least one engineer in if we do that. 25 points over. God damn. I think the only way to do it is to take a level 4 and a level 3. No, we could go Warhorse, right? That still doesn't do it. Yeah, okay. Okay. Like so. Unless the Wizard Lord is on foot, which you can kind of get away with, because you've got Spectral Steed, gains Ethereal and Fly. You'll have to be careful with it, but that should do the job. Okay. We're going to be ballsy. We're going to go for a level 4 on foot. This is something that needs testing. Like, actual testing, as opposed to just sort of, like, playing out on... God damn it. Playing out in theory, because whether the on-foot Necromancy caster works, I think, affects the entire loadout. But, let's go double Hellblaster Polygon, because we know that's good. And I think I like 2 Hellblasters, 2 cannons, more than I like 3 cannons. Although this doesn't deal with dragons very well, so maybe it's the cannons, but even the cannons don't get it. This is so dumb. What if we went back to... We could go back to Dark Magic for the secondary debuff here. Maybe I like that more, but then we lose Spectral Steed. Fitting these pieces together is a complicated pain in the ass. Complicated pain in the ass. I think we're right. I think you're right, though. We go back to the Knights of the White Wolf, just in terms of if you're doing it, you may as well do it properly, right? You had 10. How do I feel about 10? 10's fine. Standards. Do we care about giving them fear? Honestly, fear's not awful, because you are debuffing their leadership. The only other thing that I'm really looking at here is the War Banner, right? Single leadership test, rally test, yeah. So it's just going to be give them fear. And... I think that's it, right? That's just how it has to be. So we've got 3 Terror Causers here. We've lost 2 Terror Causers because we've lost the Stank. I really want a Terror Causer in here. But Necromancy, you've got to... it's range self, right? Yeah, range self. God, that's such a pain in the backside. Just doesn't quite work out the way you want it to. There's no smooth way of getting everything. But I think the engineer is important because you want to be able to kill stuff. Yeah. I guess then it comes down to what do you put for the rest of the points. Can't take in a circle knights, can you? No, of course you can't. Ooh. Yeah, I think the archers you had was probably the best choice. I don't know how I feel about them being scouts now. I think 2 units with scouts is probably still fine. Fire and flee is also, like, aggressively fine. What if I went, like... I don't really want too many drops with this list, because it's an artillery list. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the absolute minimum that we can take in terms of drops. So it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drop list currently. There's no way to give them ambush, is there? No. Okay, so maybe we just bump this unit up. That might be the correct way to do this. 507, 1992, 5 points remaining. These have got charm shields. Love it. Is there anything else I want to give them as well? Not really. Can't give the engineer anything. Not anything important, anyway. Give him a charm shield. There we go. Jobs are good. I think this is interesting. I haven't changed it much. I think the second wizard is probably important, but actually fitting it in is more complicated than I thought it was going to be. I also really like having the increased output, so let's go with that. And, oh god, whose list was it? Who did I have here? Phidias. I think that's right. Bloomin' streamer mode stops you from seeing the people that you're trying to at on Discord, which is a pain in the backside. Okay, cool. So that took a while to get through, but hopefully there was it was enjoyable to see how that one all fits together, because I think this is a really interesting list. I like the concept here. Definitely needs to be played around with. Cool. Well, is there anyone else here who wants their list looking at next? If not, I'll move on to Tijan's list. God, I'm crunching. Definitely sit down too much. Need to sort that out. So, looks like we're going with Tijan's list. Anyone who pipes up in chat can be the next up. Tijan says, list for my first tournament in a month. That's fun, and it is the Night Goblin Poison Shooting Army. I know this list intimately. I played against it literally on Sunday. This is a version that indexes more towards the squigs, which is fun. I think there's not too much to actually tweak in this list. It's very efficient. Basically, this is one of the more solved lists, I think, and it just depends what variation of things that you want to put in. So I like that you've gone for the squigs. I think the Mangler squigs have fallen out of favour a little bit. They hit hard, you know. They're random movers, which is great. They've got only D6 attacks, but they are strength 6. They've got the AP -2 killing blow, so that's pretty tasty. But, you know, 4 wounds T5 with only a 5-up save. Sure, it's under 100 points, so it's a good stat line, but they do fall over relatively easy. I would be tempted to make some tweaks here. I think 60 is too low in the main unit. I'd like to see more in this unit. And I'm assuming your you've got limited units in terms of, or like little limited models. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some tweaks here. So let's just take both of these out. And let's see if we can't get the unit doing more of what it wants to do. So I think if we go up to 90 here, takes you up to 150 Night Goblins, which I think is good. I don't really want to drop any here, but if you have got limited models, you could definitely drop, you know, go to 80 in this unit and then go to like 2 squads of 20 here. That would probably work all right, although I don't love not having the full 3 Fanatics per unit, because that's the whole reason you're taking them. And then we've just got some points here as well. You do have to go for... So what I was thinking is... no, that was a different list. This one... I think this list was like pretty optimal. I'm suggesting some tweaks. You don't have to make them because what you've got is absolutely fine. Let's go for another fungus wine here. So you got up to 2. That gives you 4. This character may as well go for the War Banner. If you do end up in combat, you may as well get that extra little bit of combat res. And then that leaves us 35 points. It literally just comes down to put some more Night Goblins in. I don't think there's a lot to tweak with this one, honestly. I wouldn't mind a second power scroll, honestly, for this character. Leaves us with 15 points. Yeah. I don't think there's anything really that I'd change here. I do like the Wallopers one-hit wonder on a BSB. You could... I don't even know going. Meteor Archine is worth doing. With 2 wounds, I think what you've got is probably pretty optimal. It's against the wearer of. It's a shame that it's not against the unit. You could pick up the trophy rack. That's a cheeky little purchase you could make because you've got a lot of points available. Because you haven't gone for the Wyvern, right? Which I prefer the Wyvern, but that's a drastically different list. I'm not going to put it in, but you could definitely go for this here, so that when you beat a dragon, like if a dragon charges you and wins on combat res, you're knocking their leadership down. I think that's an interesting little tweak you could make. But I think, honestly, we could just go up to 93 in a single unit. You know what? I quite like the Netters, because it conditionally keeps the unit alive. And that leaves you with 88 in the unit. 88 feels pretty solid. Yeah, there we go. That is... I think the problem with this one is I want to give more feedback, but I think you've got a pretty optimal list. So here are some tweaks that I like, but don't necessarily feel like they need to be made. Yeah, there we go. That's what we'll say about this one. Okie dokie. I thought it was weird that no one was chatting, but my chat had just frozen. So let me catch up on chat here because there were so many messages. I thought it was bizarre that no one was responding. So let's have a look. Tanako said, played a smaller version of the Death Star, fully committed to it now, like we did. Didn't think of another Royal Herald. Great stuff, glad that you like that one. Strifey said, good, got to go, have a good stream all. We'll watch back for the Terror Bomb list later. Hell yeah, Strifey, hope you enjoy it. Into a second Wizard for reliability. Handgun call, let's go. Sorry, I've missed all of this while people are talking about it. I thought it was odd that no one was enthused about the terror-causing list. I'll have to see what caused that to break. Who would win? 5 terror-causing units on 1 weird Rune of Courage. Dwarves need all the help they can get, so I'm not too sad about that. Unlike necromancy, only vampire counts have access to necromancy. That's very funny. I like that. Yeah, the problem with the list before is that there's no... there are lists that just ignore it, right, when you're immune to psychology. Magic Missile in demo is pretty good. Phantasmagoria is interesting. Yeah, I agree. I like Phantasmagoria. Tome on Dark Magicaster and Lore on the Necro. Yeah, you could definitely swap those over. Illusion has Mind Razor. Empire love Illusion in general. That's true. Make a leadership debuffed unit stupid could be good. Let's have a look. Hey, Jack, how you doing? Sorry I missed your message, bud. Been playing around with this idea for a while. Sticking point is how do we deal with Tomb Kings or Screams in Game 4 or 5? That is the problem. That is the problem. Because, like, gun lines don't deal super well with undead, right? Would like yours looked at in the near future? Hell yeah, Goldfire. We'll get to yours. We'll do yours next. No lizardmen today. Nope, no one submitted any lizardmen. Raphael, you have a list that needs improvement for a tournament? Well, the next Fix My List stream will be in 2 Fridays' time. That is the 14th, I believe, 14th of March. Join the Discord. I will put a call out on the Thursday or on the Friday morning when the submission is open. Large target kills of manglers. Yeah, perfect. We've got our Orcs and Goblins specialist in the house. You're currently preferring Warbus Cave Squig. Great weapon. That's a good shout. That is a good shout. Musicians in the 30s. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's a shame I missed all of these when I was going through the list. Skulls might be a little late, but you threw Seawolves list in. Let me just have a look here. Yeah, sorry. It's past the cutoff on that one, bud. But what I'll do is I'll put you on my spreadsheet so you get first priority for next week. Or not next week, next stream in a fortnight's time. There's a couple of people who've just missed cutoff, so I'll put all of you in for first priority if you missed out. Just make sure to submit your list when I put the call out on Discord next time. Sudoku, make me an anti-Tiedemann dwarf list. I don't know what he's playing at the moment, actually. I should have a look. Perfect. Well, we've caught up on all of those messages that I missed. I can only apologise. But yes, it's a good shout. We're just going to put these musicians in. Also, putting bosses in as well, I think, is important. He's playing Barrettes. How do you feel about that, Dave? Champions. I think it's good because obviously you start a higher leadership on the unit champions. So let's just go down to 82, which is still pretty solid. So then we'll go export compact list, copy as text. Can't stop me. Need to drop you a message over the weekend. Yeah, of course you can, buddy. Just shoot me a message. You know where to find me. Let's edit this message. T-Jans. In your description, you mentioned Luckstone. You mean Paymaster. Nice stuff. Cool. Yeah, let's have a look at Goldfire's list. Good to have you submitting one. Let's see. Yeah. We're back to the Tomb Kings. Let's have a look at this one. So, what have we looked at? We've done this one, we've done the Terrapon, and we're on to number 3. Here we go. Goldfire's Royal Host list, but this is in Grand Army. I think this is fun. So Goldfire says, you've been playing Royal Host lately by request from opponents. It can be quite interesting to play. There are obvious issues with the list in terms of fun for opponents, and it's not really a list I feel good bringing against anyone who hasn't asked for it. Super fair. I've been toying with a Grand Army list that does kind of the same, but in different numbers and units. There are some great advantages and some obvious downsides. This is what you've ended up with. And then you've got below... Tomb King and Herald goes into the Tomb King and Prince of the Archers. Priests around the units. Some flex points to level 2s, the Scorpions and Skeletons. Think maybe removing a level 2, which is mainly there to res, and putting the Paymaster's coin on the King and some stuff for the Priest. Yep, that's the first thing that I thought of. Normally you'd give the Herald Meteoric Iron and Talisman Protection. Quite a lot of success with the layout on the Prince, including the Meteoric Iron. There's some kind of counterpunch. Okay, cool. You've considered trying other units out that you don't normally play. Carrions to be specific? Hell yeah, I do like me some Carrions. I was thinking of a few units to charge in the flanks when the enemy is held in place with big blocks. Got inspired rewatching my Tomb Kings video. Where's the total Nuln dominance you promised us? I don't know that I promised Nuln dominance. I do think that list is good. I'm not sure why nobody's playing it. If I wasn't playing High Elves, maybe that would be the way to go, because it is my sort of skirmish bullshit. You don't like Necrosphinx in a list like this. It's points denial, not very good into combined combat. Yep, that's super fair. The reason you went for 70 archers is that with a chariot it takes them to 78, which leaves 3 spots for the priest in the 9x9. You want it to be competitive, and you think that it is, but it would be nice with some tweaks. Also, hashtag mate infantry with chariots great again. Goldfire, you're playing undead, so you're in a great place for infantry to be good. So there's great stuff there. Tomb Prince. You said you wanted counterpunch, so you've got 3 attacks with weapon skill 5. Obviously, the Tomb Prince does bring an additional My Will Be Done, but I think we just change this Tomb Prince to another Royal Herald for the same reason as we did in the other Tomb King list. Anubis, you sent me a PM as well. Hell yeah, lovely stuff. Cola, morning from Australia. Sorry you slept in. Oh, disgraceful behaviour. No, we haven't looked at yours yet, Hacken. But we can do yours after Goldfires. That's not a problem at all. Not an issue. Thanks for getting back to me on that, Dave. Good to have your perspective. I guess you try and be around the General's leadership anyway. Cool. So, on this one, Tomb Guard. I think you're spending a lot of points in core that I don't know. I don't know how I feel about these two units. Tomb Scorpions are good. You said you didn't want the Necrosphinxes. Is there anything else we put in? Oh, you know what would go crazy in this list? A Casket of Souls. Prince goes with the Archers. He needs to give them poison. Oh, okay. I've misunderstood. So you're putting one character, so the Prince goes in with the Archers, and then you're going the Herald and the Tomb King in with the Tomb Guard? Is that right? So you're going for 2 units. So you're going for a combat brick and a shooty brick. Have I understood that correctly? Interesting. This changes how I feel about things. Okay. So Resing is D3 plus level, right? For Arise into infantry. Yeah, D3 plus level. So level 2, level 1, we can make some cuts there if we need to. Cool. Okay, interesting. Just dry rolling makes me a little nervous. I do want Lore Familiar here if possible, I think. Cool. So let's start out by cutting one of these. We'll decide if we want to put that back in. So this unit is the 5-up, 5-up with the armor and the regen. And you've got a great weapon, which is fine. Is it better to just not ever get caught? Is that just the solution? Because you are losing some frontage. And you don't have archers on the chariot. Maybe you just don't need to have this character being the thing holding the poison. Maybe you just accept that you've got to play tight and not get charged, and use the rest of your stuff to catch them. Does that make sense? I'm not sure I want to put 180 points into defending a shooting brick when I've also got a melee brick that I'm kind of using as my bully. I'm gonna take it out and we'll see where we get to, because it does give us more flex here. It's 0 to 1 to High Priest or Tomb King in Grand Army, isn't it? So, and it's uncapped Mortuary Priests. So one of the Mortuary Priests wants to get the poison, because we can't put it on the unit champion, can we? No, that's one of the downsides. So here we go.
We support Tomb Guard enjoyers in here.
Hell yeah, Tomb Guard enjoyers. Weirdly, not me. Undead just isn't tickling the pickle for some reason. I don't know why. I need to force myself to play them so I understand them better, I think. But, yeah, so we've got... If we have it like this, we can have... Not having the massive pluses to cast does worry me a little bit. I still think it's worth taking one Casket of Souls, right? Because you're going to be using the Covenant of Power. Nope, that's the wrong thing. Vortex of Souls, here we go. Lighted Protection is super good, right? So you're giving them the ward save and -1 to be hit when you've got like a big sort of tanky death unit here. So I think I like at least one on the Casket of Souls. I know the idea is make infantry great again, but Tomb King chariots instead of Tomb Guard with the King is an option. I think I like the Tomb Guard more because they're a beefer unit, right? The chariots aren't super wounds dense per point. Or am I talking out my ass? What's the points on them? Tomb Guard are 10 points per wound, and chariots are yeah, no, they're significantly more. We're looking at what, 14 point something, 14.3 points per wound there. It's a little bit much. A little bit much. Okay. Okay. I think, like, so this unit here can probably just go away, right? This is a big point sink that we don't necessarily need to go into. I'd rather have the 2 units here be more effective. And 9x9 is 81. And we're going potentially High Priest, Mortuary Priest in there. And that frees us up to... $78. So let's go 78 here. Not 7,078. Obviously, we're not paying for light armor. That would be ludicrous. And then here we've got the +1 leadership. We probably want... Like, the Icon of Rakath is so good. I think you just want that, right? Even on the slower unit. Although you do have TMP. You potentially have 2 TMPs, so maybe we don't need it as much. Light armor shield, phalanx. Probably... You can't march them, so there's no point taking drilled, right? And I don't really care about reforming them. And if I cared about reforming them, I'd take the Icon of Rakath. Is there anything that we want to put here in terms of... oh yeah, you did say you wanted Paymaster's Coin, which I think is correct. Paymaster's Coin. I think as well, with this chap, you may as well just take the Charm Shield for 5 points. Like, there's going to be a time when that comes in handy, and 5 points isn't breaking the bank now that we're not super capped in characters here. I think if we're going for a melee brick, I'm kind of okay with a single... Am I okay with a single Royal Herald? Is there a way that we can fit a second one in? Maybe there is. Let me just go... Okay. Okay, I'm cooking. I got it. I've got it in my head. So, the level 2, we are going Lore Familiar Power Scroll. That means whatever we don't roll on the level 4, we can cast, and it's important. The level 4 we're not taking, because obviously you want to be taking your Lore of Nakara. You can either take the incantation, or more likely you're going to be taking the Desert Wind. Necrotect and the Tomb Guard goes hard. I don't hate that, actually. But what I do want to put in is the Royal Herald. And if we went for the Royal Herald here, on a chariot, and we went for... I think we're going to cap out in points. Oh no, we've got 43 points remaining. Okay. We are cooking. Yeah. Oh, we need to put the poison item on this. Poison, 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 poison. Amulet of Serpent. So that gives us... That's so much frontage. How wide would we need to be for this to work? We'd need to be 6, 7, 8, 9 wide on the Tomb Guard. That's unwieldy. That is unwieldy. I think we make this one the BSB. We get rid of this one. Just because it's a slightly more efficient item loadout now that we've got rid of the other character. Which means we can go back to another Mortuary Priest. Which doesn't have these items. And then we put in the Necrotect. Is it the Arc Necrotect? Oh, no, because Necrotect is... Yeah, this is fine, this is fine. +1 attacks and hatred all enemies. So this is... Realistically, you're not going to actually have many Tomb Guard attacking. But what it does give you is it gives you... hatred on the... Yeah, it gives it to the characters. So that's pretty good. And we want to go Great Weapon here. 36 points available. Am I missing anything? Or is this just... Is this just it? Is this him? So this all goes into one brick. This goes into another brick. This feels solid, honestly. And then we only need to be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wide. Which is still wide. Maybe that's too wide. Maybe the Necrotect doesn't make it in. Maybe it's just too unwieldy. But, I mean, we could go 76 still works. Yeah, I think I like this. This is the... I think logistically, maybe we don't go for the Necrotect. Just because if you're going 9 wide, how many deep do you need to be? So this is taking up 1. The chariots are taking up 8. 8, 16. 9 wide. You want to be comfortably at least 3 ranks because you're going to want to be getting that combat res. 9, 18, 27, minus 16, minus 17, 10, 19. Okay. Maybe this does work. This stream, more than anything else, has been just thinking about concepts and just going deep into the weeds on things that I haven't built around myself before. I think I like this. I think I like this setup. The Necrotect will die immediately if someone targets it out, but that's kind of fine because it's just there. You sit it on the corner next to the Tomb King or something like that. Yeah, okay, I like it. I think this is interesting. But I would be happy to chat with you more about it if you want to talk about it later on. So let's just go at Goldfire. We can talk about it off stream if you've got any thoughts that if there's anything that you think I've missed. And I have bolded this one for some reason. Maybe that's because I'm so goddamn excited about it. Let me just make sure that I've tagged you correctly. Goldfire. There we go. Sweet. All right. Cool. Let's move on to Hackenx's Tracian list, the not Wood Elves, because I saw you commented asking if I'd done yours, which I hadn't yet. So let's move on to this one. So we've got, I think this list is really interesting. I like it. You've gone just full Tracian chariots, right? So you've got a Prince on chariot, you've got a Corhill on chariot, and we've got an Archmage on chariot as well. You can also respond to the DM about sponsoring it. Oh shit, I'm really sorry, buddy. So this is probably a good point. If you've got something to message me about, and you've DM'd me, and I haven't responded, it's because I get a lot of DMs, and if it's not someone on my friends list, it doesn't show up in my list, it just shows up in my sort of pool of people that I haven't responded to. So if you've sent me a message which is important and I haven't responded, then poke me on Discord, just like at me in general or something to have a look. Because I haven't seen that message, so I will have a look at that after the screen. Thanks for the review. Yeah, no worries. It's a super interesting concept. I think it's I've thought about doing it. It's the most fleshed out version of it that I have seen. I hadn't even got to this point. I kind of got stun locked. Sorry, we'll get back to the Wood Elves in a second, but I got stun locked with it here. The fact that you don't have a melee unit kind of put me off, but the Tomb Guard I think is super interesting. Honestly, maybe you don't even go the Tomb Guard. Maybe you just go equivalent points in Skeletons, because Skeletons, Tomb Guard are T4, right? So the T4 wounds, which is really nice. They only have a 5-up save, which is not ideal. And other than that, I don't think there's any other rules that they get which is better. Because you're not making really attacks with it. So maybe it's better to just go for the Skeleton Warriors. Because you get Horde. So you get another point of combat res, which is quite nice. You lose the toughness. You lose the weapon skill. But realistically, you're going to be My Will Be Done, getting the plus 1 to the weapon skill. With the banner that gets you up to 4, which is defensively enough to not be terrible. So yeah, maybe it's better to just go equivalent points in regular Skeletons, but Tomb Guard are cool, and I didn't want to take them out. So yeah, I'll have a look at your DM after the stream as well, buddy. Cool. Okay, so on to Wood Elves. This was another list that I really liked. So as I say, 3 chariots. This is Prince, who has gone chariot. Otherwise, I think it's a 3-up save in melee. Let's just double check here. So we've gone for the Armor of Calidor, which is the full plate Cedar Rebirth. Oh yeah, that's it. So it's a 2-up save against shooting, or it would be if we could get a shield in. Oh god, we haven't even got a shield in there? That's a little bit tragic. But there's no point for it. I think the character points are optimal. I think you've come up with the best version of the character points that you can fit in. The other alternative you could go for is you drop the Armor of Calidor, which means you don't have a ward save on there. So you put the dragon helm on, and then you go for, I guess, an charmed shield opal amulet, something like that. But I think I like the loadout you've gone for the most. 4 up, 5 up, 5 up on both the Prince and Archmage. They both got Tracing Blades. Yeah, I really like the setup you've got. It just makes me a little bit sad that you don't have a 2-up save against shooting, but character points are a premium, and you can't do the Blood of Calidor trick to get cheaper defenses. So I think this is solid. Yeah, honestly, like it. And then you've got the Tracian Woodsman. Are you locked to Rule of 3? Because these units are bigger than I'm comfortable with. But if you're locked to Rule of 3, understandable. And then Sisters of Avalon here. So I don't have a huge amount to... This wasn't the Blade of Leaping Gold. I've clicked the wrong thing. It was meant to be the Bow of the Seafarer. You're not... Okay, if you're not locked to Rule of 3, then I think we go... This is a unit that's going to be running away. We always go Musicians on the units that are going to run away. It's literally 0 to 1 units have scouts, isn't it? So we go... How many units can we fit in here with a musician? Okay, so we've got 5, and then you want 1 unit with scouts. I think that's reasonable. We probably just make this unit slightly bigger, get it up to 10, so you've got more of a threat in the back line. I think that's interesting. So this is just, you're slightly less likely to die to terrible charges or being charged in one side. And you're still bringing... how many did you have before? You had 44 before? I'm assuming we've got the same amount. 8, 16, 32, 42. Oh, we've lost some because we've got the Musicians. I think that's fine. I think these are a lot more effective, and they do very much the same thing. You've got the loadout that I like. Heavy Armor, Lion Cloak, Warbows, Musician, and the Great Blades. This is solid. I also like the title of this list, by the way. I didn't mention that. It's called Not Wood Elves, but it's just Wood Elves as they could be, right? Big fan of that. 8 Sisters with the Ruby Ringaroon, I think is fantastic. I'm not sold on the Bow of the Seafarer, honestly. I'm not sure why, but 50 points for what you get feels a little bit steep. Let me just pull it up here. Bow of the Seafarer, I think it's on this image. No, it'll be on this one. So, Bow of the Seafarer, you're getting 1 shot. You are Ballistic Seal 6, so you're going to be hitting on 2s most of the time. Strength 5, AP 3, cumbersome, so you can't stand and shoot with it. And it is multiple wounds D3 through and through. Maybe that is useful, but you can't... The problem with it is you can't get it into good position, because the Sisters don't have scout, right? So you're just shooting from the front, so you're not getting any, like, cheeky flank shots into heavy cavalry. Is that worth 50 points? Maybe. Maybe. They are also the easiest unit to kill in the shooting phase, because defensively they're T3, and they have light armor, and that is it. And there's no way to upgrade them because they can't get the Lion's Cloaks. AP4 on Sisters. That's true. Yeah. You do get an extra pip of AP from the Arrows of Isha, and you also get some extra armor bane. So on a 6 to wound, you're AP5, which is more than anyone needs. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh no, yeah, 2 up save. Extra AP for Arrows of Isha. Yeah. Here's the thing. I'm not convinced that it's worth taking for 50 points. However, I don't have anything that I would rather put in for 50 points. So, yeah. I mean, you could put, like, I'm not saying put in some bolt throwers. That's hard to justify. You could put in a Great Eagle. I don't know if that's worth doing. This is quite high on drops. So you're kind of giving up the +1 because I've split up all the core units. That is something to consider. This doesn't feel like it's a list that needs to go first, though, because you're not going to be full sending. You've got short charge range. You're kind of waiting for them to come close to you. Yeah. Are Shadow Warriors worth looking at? I mean, they never are. I just keep, like, I look at how many rules they have, and I'm like, surely this time there's something that's worth doing. You can't even give that the bow. Because if you could give the scout unit the bow, I'd maybe consider that. Setting on the flanks of Sisters to the bow. It's nice for Drogue units of 4. Morning, Entropy. How you doing? Warlines. Warlines is, yeah, I'm a little underwhelmed on Warlines. Let's just have a look at them. Oh, they're not in here. So Warlines, because they have no defense, they just fall over immediately. I'm kind of on them. Honestly, I think I really like this. You've got the triple chariot threat, which I think is really fun. Obviously, the Archmage is going to hit the hardest if he gets his spell off. I was wondering if it's worth just going double Archmage, honestly. Let's just play around with that, because I think it's fun. So we go, keep the Seed of Rebirth, we take off the Lore Familiar, we go for the Silvery Wand, and we go for level 4 Lion Chariot. So that puts us 35 points over, is the problem. I don't think there's any way to realistically make the cuts to get double Archmage. And I also don't think that double Archmage is better, but it was just a thought I had. What if you went double level 4? Because then you've got more sort of like coverage for spells and dispels. No, I think your list is good. I prefer the core setup the way I've gone for it, the 10-8-8-8-8. But I think it's difficult to change this. I think you've stripped this down pretty effectively. So let's just put this one into Discord, because I think it is solid. And have you played around with it at all? The other concept is dropping the chariot off the Archmage, putting them in a 6x3 block of Lion Guard with high magic, but that means dropping unit sisters. Yeah, you absolutely can do that. I've gone off high magic for a static unit for High Elves a little bit, because now they've got the T4 banner. I'm kind of more interested in being like, what if I just do honest defenses, where I make them T4, maybe put an illusion caster in there with glittering robes, stuff like that. It means dropping unit sisters, played a 1k stripped down game against Beastman Chariot Spam and got ruined. Ooh, interesting. With the list that you... Oh, 1k stripped down game. Yeah. I feel like you've got enough punch to deal with the Beastmen in this list. Although, yeah, you just gotta kind of bait out charges, right, with the Tracy and Woodsman, because a lot of what the Beastmen have is they don't have... Like, they hit really hard when they hit you, but they don't have Swift Stride. So you can set up really nice, just sort of stand in front of them, flee, they get caught out in the middle of nowhere, you charge them and deal some big dams. Because even just the Tracy and Woodsman charging in, you're going to get into the front of a chariot. I guess it's only 4 attacks. Oh god, that's not much. They're just static attacks. You're at risk of losing. Get flank charges. That's the answer. Get flank charges or hit them with your heavy stuff. That's probably the answer. But yeah, this is fun. I really like that. And I think I'd struggle to make any other tweaks within the confines. But I guess just while you're here, let's build out what we'd be doing. Because I don't think you need to lose... I don't think you need to lose the sisters to do the White Lions unit. So you said you wanted 18... So let's go 18. I think if we're doing this, let's keep it to Illusion. I think Illusion's really a really fun way of building this. You still go... do you go Lore Familiar? Circlet of Atras. If you're on foot, I think you need the Circlet, and then Seed of Rebirth, and then Silvery Wand, because we don't have points for the Lore Familiar. That takes us to 90. Yeah, there we go. And... also, I'd want to put in a BSB. Oh, it just doesn't quite work out points-wise if you want to go for the double melee threat. Okay, no, I like your list. Maybe there's something to play around with like a BSB and a Archmage on foot in a unit with like Illusion. I think that's a really beefy unit. Lore Familiar for Walk Between Worlds. Yeah, so I wasn't even thinking going high magic. I was thinking more going Illusion. We're still going for Spectral Doppelganger and just be like putting it the... Trace and Chieftain in, going for BSB, Banning for Resilience. The points really don't fit, so you'd probably have to drop Core Hill to make it work. And I think at that point you're losing too much flexibility with your fast units. So I like the version that you've got more. But this is definitely a direction you could go in. All right, cool. Well, what have we got up next? Anyone in the chat here who wants to have a look at have their list looked at next? while they're here if anyone needs to go. No worries at all. Thank you for submitting them. This is the easiest content to do, and I absolutely love it. List building is my favorite thing to do, and I get to sit and interact with chat, so it's a genuine pleasure to sit here and do this. It's my favorite Friday night streams. I think if I did them every week, it might get a little bit stale in terms of, I think I'd run out of people who wanted to have things to do, but fortnightly they are my favorite things to do. I get a look at fun stuff, like this is a list that I hadn't necessarily considered. The Grand Army, the Terror Bomb. This has been a great set of lists to look at. Okay, so we haven't had anyone shout up, so I'm going to look at Snowman's Grand Army Orcs and Goblins list. But if anyone's here who wants to have their list looked at next, just whack it in chat and I will pick that one up afterwards as well. Very quickly, very last concept question. Chase and Chieftain on Chariot, BSB, Illyrian banner for move through cover chariots. You could do that, yeah. I'm perennially disappointed with move through cover as a rule for melee units because you still have to take 2d6, drop the lowest. But it's quite important on chariots not to just get absolutely wrecked by terrain, so that is good. Dave says, you see Ogdras and a block of Black Orcs, and I immediately approve. Yeah, I like this. You know where this is going. So the concept for this list, and I do need to go up and read it because there was some good text with this one. Let's have a look what was said. I've gone too far up. Here we go. Snowman says, I'll give it a go. Idea to use Ogdras to stack defenses on the Black Orcs. I know the Black Orc boss on Wyvern would be better, but I don't have the Wyvern model. Super reasonable. Super reasonable. So, what have we got here? Well, we've got a Black Orc War Boss on Chariot, which is fine. It is the triple save with a Potion of Foolhardiness in case it wants to cause charge a Terror Causer, which is, just wise, I think. Nice little adaptation there. Got a Great Weapon, and then we've got the Chariot with the Great Weapon Standard Bearer. This is solid. We've got Ogdras, and what does Ogdras bring? Ogdras brings... which rule is it? Oh, it's not a special rule. It's just that he can pick spells from Law of Magic, Troll Magic, and Elementalism. So the way that this works is you're going to be taking, with your Law Familiar, Rapid Regeneration, which gives the unit Flammable and a 5-up regen. And then you're also going to be taking from Elementalism, Earthen Ramparts, and then you've got a choice. You can either go Plague of Rust, Wind Blast, or TMP. Realistically, TMP is probably the best one, because otherwise you've got a pretty immobile block of infantry. Backing them up, there are 3 Stone Trolls. I think, immediately, let's get rid of the 3 Stone Trolls and go to River Trolls. Because they are 8 wounds for 2, but they're 50 points less, basically. So, 3 Stone Trolls, 147 points, whereas 2 River Trolls, 106 points. So it's 42 points less, and you're only losing a single wound. You lose a little bit of armor, and you lose the magic resist, but those things aren't going to matter in this list, because these River Trolls are going to stand directly behind Ogdras inside the unit. That's the thinking there. Okie dokie. Then there were, character-wise, there's a big boss and a war boss. Now, the big boss is the BSB. In this list, I don't like that. I want to have a Black Orc BSB, so we're going to just get rid of that. You still need to take a war boss, so let's just double up on the Hopper war bosses, because they're pretty effective. There we go. And we still need to put in a BSB. Oh, I duplicated the Black Orcs. That's fine. And then here, let's go for a regular Orc Big Boss, just so you don't have to take a second unit of Black Orcs. We'll go BSB. You know what did he have equipped with? I think it was the War Banner. Yeah, it was the War Banner. Fantastic. So we're going to go War Banner, which is solid, and we'll go... he had Glowy Green Amulet on the Death Star, which I do like, but also I do want my BSB to be alive. So let's go Troll High Trousers and Charmed Shield, and then we can just go... I guess just a normal hand weapon is the best thing to rock here. Heavy armor and on a war boar. And that gets you up to, I believe, a 2-up save. Heavy armor, Troll Hide Trousers, Armored Hide, and Charmed Shield. Yeah, so it gets you to a 2-up save. So your BSB is not going anywhere, which I think is really important. And you've got double War Boss to unlock the double Fanatics. Again, I'm just going to go Boss and Musician on both of them. I think it's important not to have them running away. And you're less likely to have them in range of your general in this list, because the War Boss wants to do things on its own. These Boar Boys are great. So you've gone for 7, Banner of Butchery, fully upgraded. Love that stuff. So, what are we missing? We're just over on points. That's the problem. We're 109 points over. 109 points over. We can shave some points here. So I do appreciate that you've gone for the everyone with shields and great weapons, but you only have to go half. You just alternate how they're equipped, and that makes things nice and easy. We're still 100 points over. What are we doing to shave 100 points with this list? That is a difficult question. Do we downgrade the Orc? I think because this is like a proper melee Death Star, you want it to be tanky. So you really don't want to skimp on giving the BSB defenses. Like, if you had the Night Goblin, you're just giving up 2 points of combat res very quickly when a couple of attacks go into him. I think we maybe just drop some of the Night Goblins. Now, this is going to be sacrilegious, I know. I don't know if this is worth doing. 2 units of 20 with only 2 Fanatics. I need a vibe check. Dave, what are you thinking? Like, we need to shave points. Is it ever worth taking 2 units of 20? This feels bad. I don't like it. I'd rather go 1 unit of 30. After recalling horror, yeah, I didn't feel happy doing it. I think maybe we just go 1 unit of 30 and we drop this one. So we've got a unit with Fanatics, and then we decide what else you're putting in. This feels better, having 1 unit. It's difficult to say what to put in as well, not knowing. 2 Fanatics is like an open top sandwich. It's not a sandwich anymore. Oh, man. I'd murder a sandwich right now. I am starving. I don't think I had dinner. I should do that. It's fine. I'll just eat when the stream is finished. That seems like a reasonable thing to do. Yeah, okay. To Goblin War Bosses down to Big Bosses. Wait, are they War Bosses? Oh! For some reason, I had missed that. I thought they were Big Bosses. Night Goblin Big Bosses on Giant Cave Squigs with great weapons, light armor, and a charmed shield. There we go. Now we're cooking with charcoal. And then if we duplicate this again, we only need to shave 50 points. Yeah, it does save 30. It saves 50. Yeah, it saves a good chunk. Because the big boss compared to the war boss, 25 per, so it saves 50 points. Of course, if we were dropping 1 unit of Night Goblins, we wouldn't need to. Maybe we... Right. We're going to drop the boss as well. I know you said you like it if you can squeeze it in, but maybe we can't squeeze it in. And then we're going to drop 2 models from the Black Orcs, because you can still go 6x3, and that way you... with the 2 spaces that the big boss is taking up, that puts us 2,005 points. We just need to shave just 5 points. That's doable. That's doable. That is doable. Alright, here we can drop the boss. We don't need the boss. There we go. There we go. A Trollhide truly necessary in the big boss. I think so, because this is like a full melee brick, right? So, oh, I guess because you're getting the regen, you're like planning on casting the regen on the unit, so maybe you don't need the regen. In that case, I'd still want to put defensive items on him. But I'd be more tempted to go Dead Hard Armor. With Ogdra's giving regen. I know the top is nice, but if you're desperate. Yeah, no, it's a really good point. But, so let's give him Dead Hard Armor, and then we can give him a great weapon as well, because we don't need the Charm Shield. There we go. So now he's T6. and still has a 2-up save even without needing the shield. That is good. And we're 12 points, so we can just put the unit champ back on there. I don't love a unit champ, but it's fine. Cool. I think this is good. This is one that I think there's a lot of different directions you could go in. I don't necessarily want to make like bold changes, like putting new units in, because I don't know what your collection is, but I think this is solid. That looks good to me. Cool. So that is Snowman's Black Orc Death Star. And I like the list. I'm hoping to see infantry be a little bit better down the line, so we'll see. That's the sort of list I could see doing well in the future, I think. Let's have a look at Reaver Games' next tournament list. So this is... yeah. This is one that I really wanted to talk about. So there's quite a lot that I'd make tweaks here, and this is kind of subject to models. So Reaver says, if I'm not in chat, my core choices are 10 Dark Riders instead of 2x5 as a bigger bunker for my level 4, gives it more security. Crossbows with Razor, because I'm nearly always going to be winning on 5s and often 6+, so in place of 3 to 4 more guys, I can get adds value. I don't have any more Dark Riders, the rest is fairly self-explanatory. So that's fair enough, because I would make tweaks here, but you've got 501 points with core that makes sense in the concept that you'd go for. I would maybe be more tempted to go a couple of units of like 12 repeater crossbowmen, just so it's harder to shut them down. But with the Razor Standard, they actually have a hope of doing something, and you can stand them on the hill, so I don't hate that. Cold One Chariot, get out of here. Not in my house. However, I see you've gone for the Blackguard here. I think that's cool. I really like having a unit like that. You've given them Magic Resist 1 and then the extra AP. I almost wonder if giving them more combat res from a War Banner is better. You could give them a BSB, though, if you wanted to do that. But what we've got here is we've gone for the Supreme Sorceress who can do the shenanigans. I think the correct thing to do here is we go for a Sorceress who is a level 2 wizard, who is also going to be Battle Magic. And she can go in with the Blackguard, and she's going to go Power Scroll, Lore Familiar. And the 2 spells she's going to be picking are Pillar of Fire and Oaken Shield. Oh, no, we don't need the Power Scroll, sorry. We need the Focus Familiars. There we go. So, Focus Familiars. The way this is going to work, she's got 2 chances to throw another Pillar of Fire up the board. Now we've got double Pillar of Fire here. And she's also got the Battle Magic Oaken Shield to give to the unit of Blackguard, which I think is really solid. We can drop that down to 19 because she's taking one of the spaces. And we're 10 points over, so maybe we just drop another one because we need to squeeze some points in. Yeah, that's solid. Oh, no, I'd make some other changes as well. The Dreadlord. You've capped to 500 points. If this is, if you're playing exactly 500 points, then I would not play Shield of Grond, I think. Pendant of Caleth is great, but Shield of Grond with just a hand weapon makes me a little bit sad. So I would probably go... I think I like Sword of Might most. But it's kind of dealer's choice. Sword of Might or Biting Blade. In fact, there's not anything that's better in here, is there? I know there isn't. No. So yeah, let's just go Sword of Might and also give you the Sea Dragon Cloak. So you've got a 2-up save against non-magical shooting. I think this, if you're going for the defensive loadout, this is a really good loadout. And you've still got points. But if you're capped, I'd probably drop the... If you're capped at 500 points, I'd drop the Shield of Grond, Sword of Might, and just go with a Great Weapon and rock about at like 470 odd points with a Great Weapon. I think that's really solid. Other than that, 14 points. I think we're just making cuts here to fit in. But yeah, this is fine. Obsidian Lodestone, I'm not sure I'm in love with a single point of magic resist, and sorcerers definitely don't come with it. No, of course they don't. But it's fine. This way, I'd probably be going 6x3 if you wanted to run the Blackguard. I think that feels pretty okay. Yeah, I think with the limitations that you've shown, this seems to be a better version of the list. Obviously, Blackguard are probably not a list that a unit I'm going to be putting in my list if I want to make it as competitive as possible. But I also think they're not terrible. They have got, you know, the full plate. the thing that they're missing compared to the Phoenix Guard is they haven't got that ward save. So putting in a Sorceress with them to give them a 5-up ward, I think that makes sense. I think I like that. And also just having the second Pillar of Fire, so you can turn 1, drop 2 Pillars of Fire, that's going to win you games in a way that very little is going to win games for Dark Elves. Like, this is a very oppressive combo. It's very strong. And then the Dreadlord obviously just flies around doing whatever he wants. But yeah, I think that is decent. I like that a lot. I don't think not much needs to be tweaked on it, but personal preference. And again, if you are capped on the dragon, you've got things that you can do. Probably drop the Shield of Grond at Reaver Games. I've spelled your name wrong. Boom. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. So that takes us up to what time? Wow, we're at 20 to 10 already, or 25 to 10. We've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left to do. So let's see what else we've got. So we've got Ben Nations or Benashian. I don't know which way that's meant to be said. But we've got a Tracian list. No, this is Grand Army, but in a Tracian theme. That was it. I remember there was some definite text with this one. Let's have a look here. What are we looking at? Where have you gone? I think it was further up the list. Ben was one of the earlier submissions. Yeah. It says, okay, funny/creative list I might try. All the chariots can fit behind the scouting chariot runners. Mage takes Column of Crystal, Mazmet Mirage, Shimmering Dragon, and Glittering Robe. Goes with the Shadow Warriors. -3 to hit that unit with shooting. 4-up ward on magic and probably in range of Dispel given the level 4 is in there. Scares Dragon with the illusion magic and makes the Chariot White Sword fly into good positions. No worries, Ian. Never sure on Sword of Might. I know magic attacks are important. It seems underwhelming. It is, but if you're taking Shield of Grond, you may as well take a weapon. And either 4 attacks at Strength 5 AP 1 or 4 attacks at Strength 4 AP 2 Armor Bane 2. Either of those is much better than using the hand weapon. And realistically, you're not actually paying that many points for either of those magic weapons. I have ended up not running the Shield of Grond. As good as it is, it's nice to be wounded on, 5s and 6s a lot of the time. I find I just like the Great Weapon on an elf, because Strike's first Great Weapon's pretty solid. But, Green Knight tech. So, yes. Shimmering Dragon. So that's interesting, because you said Shimmering Dragon, I think with the intent to make the unit fly? Yeah, it's only characters, right? To make the... Oh, actually, no, you're saying you can cast it on the Prince on Chariot. That's interesting, because it isn't infantry only. Okay, that's cool. That's a cool little combo. You may as well get the free Bow of Avalon. You may have put that on already, but, it's free real estate. This is interesting. So Sacred Incense is obviously the -1 to be hit in the shooting phase. Lore Familiar to pick your spells, Illusion, and then you're going for Shadow Stalker, which just gives you all of the rules as well. 20 points for this many rules. Yeah, this is fine. I'm not in love with the concept, but I see what you're going for, and I don't disagree with it. I just don't think it plays in a way that I would want to play. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays for you. This character's cool. I like this. You've gone for the Prince. You've given him a longbow, which is not necessarily points that need to be spent, but also if it's the last 4 points, that's super fair enough. Lion Chariot, you've gone Tracian Hunter. So you can take the bow even with that. Yes. White Sword. I like the White Sword. I think the White Sword's pretty cool. So, for anyone who hasn't seen this weapon, it's Strength +3, AP -2, so you're Strength 7, AP 2, magical attacks with Monster Slayer. That fucks. It has Strikes Last, but you don't care because you're an elf. So if you get the charge off, you're Initiative 9. So this is a Monster Slayer character. It's because obviously the downside of the Dragon Slaying Sword is it does nothing. Whereas this is just a great weapon plus. It is 70 points, but it's a great weapon plus. And it's comboed with the Dragon Helm and a Cedar Rebirth to give it a 2-up armor save against shooting, or a 3-up armor save. I guess you don't need the shield, actually. You could... it doesn't really matter. You could shave points on the shield here. In fact, let's do that and give you a... No. I was thinking Charm Shield, but you're fully capped on points. Yeah, so the reason the shield doesn't matter is you come with the Lion Cloak, so you get +1 against shooting. I guess the shield is nice because it's for magical attacks, so if you get hit by a magic missile. You know what, fair enough, I take it back. Yeah. Core heal. So we've got 2 pretty legit or Chapes scouting with the Shadow Warriors, which is interesting. You do mention they should just never let you charge it. I guess, to be fair, but can't be good at everything.